this is Amy. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I paint my version of Gabbera Daisies on a clear glass bottle. And I am going to be using a mixture of Amagic paintbrushes. I will be using 3 of their round brushes. I'm going to be using a number 8, a number 12, and a number 14. I will link all this information down below so that if you want to make purchases, you can do that through my affiliate links. I'm also going to be using a flat brush, which is a number 6, and a filbert brush, which is also number 6. A deerfoot stippler, which is a number 8. I'm going to be using 3 of my clay ball makers and 2 of my dotting stylus. Paint I'm using today is all FolkArt paint, a combination of enamel and multi-surface paints, using Wicker white. And I do apologize, my furnace is starting up. That's what you hear in the background. Thicket, forest moss, and this one is metallic silver, cerulean blue, yellow ochre, magenta, lavender, and scorbus yellow. Now with this design that I'm making, you don't have to use this many colors. I have somebody that actually made a request, so I'm doing a sample for her to see if she likes this design. So that's why I'm doing a lot of different colors. Alright, I am just going to be painting on the front of this bottle. I have cleaned it, cleaned off the label, gone over it with rubbing alcohol, and it should be ready to go. I am going to begin by just tapping in some of the centers. I'm going to use my deerfoot stippler, do the front of the brush like that, the heel of the brush like that, and then I always tap it. And I'm not real concerned about these being anything specific as far as, how do I want to say it, like a certain design, because I'm basically setting this as my center of my flowers, and then I'll be doing stuff around them, possibly even tapping back over them again, so I'm not really too concerned. I'm just combining these 2 colors together and using them to designate my centers. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I'm trying to get like a specific look. This I don't really, just around center or as close to that as possible. When you're painting on glass, a major factor is to make sure that you put a good coat of paint on, meaning that it's more opaque than transparent, because that will help you have a good design that should last and stay on your piece of glass for quite some time. Alright, so I'm going to start with my pink. All I'm going to do is just singly layer. I'm just going to fill my round brush up just like that. My space that I've allotted for creating videos is not very big, so it's hard for me to have this showing as I'm doing the design and loading the brush. So here we go. Alright, so I'm just going to pull it towards, and it's just a single base coat of whatever color you're using. Now when I'm doing this, yes, I can come back over it and give me another coat just to make sure that it is good coverage. And if you wanted to, you could also just use a single color. You don't have to have multi-colors. When you're loading your brushes, you don't have to do more than one color. Not a requirement. And you can also do, pull in closer to the center. And I don't really want this to be, I want it to be more of a, so I can go over it. And I probably will come back around here in a second. add another coat. This is just the first layer anyways, so, and you can do like different lengths. All these don't have to be the same length. You can have shorter, longer brush strokes, up to you. Alright, so I'm starting on that, and then I'm going to go to my next brush, which should be the 12, and I'm going to just do the same thing. Dip my paintbrush into the blue, the cerulean blue, and turn my bottle, trying to make sure that I do not touch it, do anything, because I don't want to mess up the design. So I can do like shorter little strokes. I mean, this is a different size brush. If you want, you can clean off your brushes and just use the same brush for each stroke. That's up to you. But I like to just kind of vary my strokes as much as possible, because they definitely don't have to be the same size or length. And this is just kind of a fun, festive design. Like that. Come back around. And I'm not really counting how many petals I'm putting on. If you need to have, and if you're someone that needs to have them all be the same amount, then, you know, pay attention to that. I'm not. The next one I'm going to do is load it into the lavender, and I'm going to come around. I'm just going to start down here. Doesn't matter which direction you go, and you can do it like it's a clock, where you go, you know, the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock kind of thing, and put your petals in that way. For the purpose of this video, I'm not concerned about that, so I'm not doing it that way. Just going to be a fun, kind of a whimsical design for the most part. So however it works out is however it's going to be. Very colorful though, right? Alright, so then I can go ahead, and I think I'm going to do this, is hit this with a heat gun and then go back over it again. Alright, so I hit it with the heat gun, and then I went ahead and did another layer of paint. And so what I'm going to do is I'll have some pink on my brush, but I'm just going to tip it into the white. And I'm going to come back through here and start adding some petals in between the ones that I already painted. Like that. And I'm just going to keep going around the bottle, pulling it close to the center as I can get. You don't have to make them as big of petals as what I've got on this bottle right now. I think my petals were smaller on my sample. I always do samples on paper before I paint them on paint them on my project. Okay, so I have it like that, and then I am going to do the same thing. Basically I have the blue, and I'm just tipping it into the white, and I'm going to come around here and start creating more petals. I don't have to have a lot of white on them. It can be, you know, just a little bit on the tip. I think I forgot to put one in between here. And you can do that if you don't like, because there seems like there's a lot of space in between these. On the pinker one, you could go back over it, maybe even add a few more petals if you want. And of course, when the pressure determines a lot of times what size, what shape your petal is going to be. So if you don't want it to be wide, don't put as much pressure. So like that. Somehow or another I keep picking up a hair. Sorry about that. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm just putting a little bit of purple on my brush, tipping it into the white. That one's kind of a big tip, but however, I'm just going to go in between. Now you can pick up more white or more purple as you go. Up to you. And I'm doing this just so that there is some variation in color and that the petals are not all the same. Because I think sometimes when you do them all the same color, that it gets a little hard to tell the difference. So then when you actually do a base coat, or you do, you know, an additional coat and then you add the white into it, then that helps distinguish the difference between the petals. Very fun and vibrant, right? Okay, now two things. You can either let it be like this before you do, or you can come back in if you feel like it and add in some pouncing to your center. You don't have to do this part because what I'm going to do next will kind of help fill it in. And actually, if you're putting a light in this, that will help. You know, give you a spot for your light to actually come through. Besides the fact it's a clear bottle. This is a little wet, so it's going to mix a little bit with the red. Again, you can do this part or you can just leave it out and just start painting the dots. And pulling up some of the paint. So you do have to be careful when you're doing this part. But you can keep working with it. Not a big deal. Now it's a little bit heavier on here. Again, I'm not trying to make my center any specific shape or the colors to be any laid down any certain way. Get some of this out of there. Okay, I'm going to stop with that. The next thing I'm going to do is start, okay, with the pink. I'm going to come over here to my pink and I'm going to just start tapping in dots. And this can get kind of tedious, so you don't really have to, you get the gist, right? Alright, so I've gone ahead and tapped in all the centers. And as you can see, you know, it didn't really matter, you know, if you tapped more of it in or not or whatnot, because I was going to do all the dotting around it anyway. So that's why I mentioned that it didn't really matter. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is take some time to paint in some of my greenery. And once again, since I don't have a whole lot of space, I'm going to show you. I'm just loading my brush, just tipping in the sides. I'm not real particular about this, and I like to add some white. I like a lot of leaves. If you don't, then don't put a lot of leaves on your project. But that's basically how I do it. And then I just keep tipping in as I go for more paint. Alright, so these leaves are just going to be just very, I'm going to do just very kind of rough edges, not anything that's real soft, because I want them to be just really, I'm trying to get good coverage here, that's why I'm going back over it. Again, and I'm adding white into it just so that I can try to definitely get some good coverage. So the more opaque your paint is, the more pigment it has, it'll be more opaque, I should say. Alright, so I'm just going to go through here and pull like that. Very simple. And I'm just going to go, I'm not going to put in like a big stem as far as, you know, showing that this is like on a stem of flowers and or a branch or whatever. I am just going to do the leaves around it, around the flowers as much as I can, because I don't want to I know they're pretty close to each other and I don't want to mess them up. And then you can connect with this stem, or you can do just a separate stem. I kind of like to make them look like they're connected, but you don't have to. Again, I'm just going to keep adding paint, just doing this one style of leaf for the most part. Not sure if I'm going to add any other just basic little leaves in here or not to fill it in. I might just keep it like this. I didn't add any in on my initial design. I'm just going to go around them, just keep doing this until I'm finished. Again, I'm just doing the front of the bottle. I will do the entire bottle, but for the purpose of making a video, I don't want my videos to be too long. I think you get the gist, right? Hopefully. Again, just wiggling, pushing down, wiggling a little bit here and there. I just want them to look kind of random. They don't have to be identical by any means. And you can, even on these type, you can switch the colors around where the outside is light, the inside's darker. On this, I'm just doing them all the same. I'm not focusing on that at all, really. Let me go back over this one. And before you bake them, just make sure that your design is the way you want it to be. If you have any questions, please place them down below underneath the video. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you like this easy design. And another thing I like to try to make sure people understand is that my channel is meant for people that are looking for easy painting designs, maybe to give you some ideas, or if you're new to painting, you don't feel intimidated, you will come and give it a try. Because I really do feel being creative, this gives you another outlet to help deal with stress. And I know no matter what kind of life you have, everybody has some amount of stress in their lives. So this is a good thing. I'm just meant to be very easy. You know, I'm not Picasso, I'm just a basic painter who likes visual, and I like to have color in my life. And this is a great way to do it with your little accent pieces. Did I hit it? Ugh. I'm always so afraid I'm going to roll over and hit my design. I've done that many times and mess up my paint, and that is not something I want to do on this. I want it to be nice. And like I said, I can pretend that this is coming over from here, go like that. And then just keep adding leaves. Again, if you don't want to do all of them the same, you can put different styles of leaves together, different colors. You don't all have to be the same colors. And they don't even have to be green, to be honest with you. They really don't. Let me do this real quick again. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm not showing you anything. It's so close. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to go back over it again. Again, you can just see I'm just wiggling and moving it around. Wiggling and moving it around. On these two, if you feel like you need to, or you want them a little more opaque, go back over them again. Very easy to do. You might want to give them a little bit of dry time before doing that. I'm going to start making points. Go like that. like that. Now you can also, you know, come in here and put more leaves in here. That's up to you. Alright, so then I'm going to be using my number 6 filbert and my clay ball makers. I'm going to, hopefully this works, going to do a little, kind of like a little dragonfly. I'm going to use each one of the clay ball makers, and I'm just doing just a dot, kind of creating the body. And then I'll go down the line to start creating the tail part. I'm going to kind of start slanting it a little bit, and what I'm doing is going through and using the smaller tips, because each side of this has a different size. So I'm using all the big ones, and then I'm going back and using the smaller ones because they go down in size as you're painting them. So anyways, I'm just going to do little dots from this part out, and just kind of curving it a little bit like that. And I can connect these dots if I want. I think I'm going to leave them spaced out. Now this is a little bit more difficult because what I'm doing is putting my filbert brush into the white paint, and I put a little bit of the silver metallic in here, and then I'm going to do the wings. Like I said, I tried this the first time and I got my brush into the paint and messed it up. So let's see here. Trying to do them so I'm not hitting that. And I can even come back up here. I think I'm going to do this where I pull it in to the body. I'm trying not to hit the little green circles. And the thing of it is with these, if you do, you know, you can either wipe it off or you can come back over them and fix them if you do. It's just a little bit more difficult when you're trying to paint them and pulling it in towards the dragonfly. And I got blue on my thing. I don't want blue in there. I really don't want blue in there. God. I've never had such a time of having such a challenge painting colors and not getting them all over the place. I'll make sure I'm on here still. And I can just kind of fill it in there a little bit. Just try not to touch. And you can make these a little bit closer. I know on here it's just kind of hard to see, but it's basic. It's just an easy dragonfly. Not meant to be anything difficult by any means. Alright, so here you have it. I hope you like it. If you do, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. New to my channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. And before you leave, please share this on your social network with all your family and friends. I would certainly appreciate it. Till the next time, please stay safe and healthy, and you have a good one.